Hello guys, and welcome to this Tableau tutorial. In this video, we'll create the following interactive dashboard using the earthquake dataset that contains all recorded earthquakes with a magnitude of 6 or higher from 1900 to 2030. The link to download the dataset is available in the description. And as you will see, we'll create the following two parameters, which are start date and end date, that will allow us to zoom in and zoom out for better analysis. We can do the same thing for end date. We'll create the following KPIs. For example, total earthquakes. We have the average gap, the average depth. We'll create histograms. We'll create also stacked bar charts, map, area charts, scatter plots for relationship between depth and magnitude, etc. But first, let's explore our dataset in Excel. As you can see here, the first column is time, so the timestamp, which gives us the date and the time. Then we have the date, so we have the different days when the earthquakes happened. We have the time, then we have the latitude, the longitude, which will allow us to create our map for different places. We have the depth, we have the magnitude type, we have the NST. So to learn more about these parameters, you can check out the following link that you can find in the description. And here we have the different parameters. For example, the NST represents the number of seismic stations with reported P and S arrival times for the earthquake. We have dmin, which is the horizontal distance from the epicenter to the nearest station in kilometers. We have RMS, which is the root mean square travel time residual in seconds using all weights. Same thing, we have seen the depth, which is in kilometers. We have the magnitude, then we have the magnitude type. So earthquakes, depending on the magnitude, will be classified in different types. As you can see here, when 6.3 we have MWP, 6.7 we have WW, 6.8 we have MW, etc. Then we set the gap, dmin, RMS, and also we have net. We have also the ID of each earthquake. We have the updated time. We have the place. So we are going to create our map using the place, latitude, and longitude. And finally, as you can see here, the last column represents the type. We have only earthquakes. So all the rows are earthquake. Okay. And as you can see here, the column that we have in here, it is an empty column. So we can just remove the column or leave it as it is because we are not going to use it. So now let's import our data set in Tableau and start working on the dashboard. As you can see here, when we import our data set, we have 18 fields. So we have 18 columns and more than 8,000 rows. For this column, it has only null values. So we can click on the down icon in here and select hide column. All right. And we are going to start by creating our parameters. So you click on sheet 1. You click on the down icon in here, create parameter, and we call it start date. So we start by start date. Date type, it will be date, range, add values from, date, and as you can see here, it automatically selects the minimum and the maximum. So you click on OK. We create another parameter. We call it end date. Same thing, date type, it will be a date, range, and add value from date. Same thing, automatically it will select the minimum and the maximum. Okay. Now we are going to create a calculated field that we are going to name study period. So we say that if date is greater or equal to start date and the date is less or equal than the end date, then give me 1, else 0, and apply. Okay, we convert it into a dimension, and now we are going to create 7 other calculated fields for our text sheets. So same thing, click on down icon, create calculated field. The first one is total earthquakes. Same thing, we create our string, apply. Okay. Next we have average dimin, right? Same thing, we copy and paste, apply. Okay. Next we have average depth, next average gap, apply. Okay. Next we have average NST, apply. Okay. We have also average RMS, right? Apply. Okay. And finally we have max gap, max gap, apply. Okay. So like that we have created 7 calculated fields for the 7 KPIs. Okay, so we start by total earthquakes. So we drag and drop total earthquakes into text. We increase the width like that. And we drag and drop the ID into text. We click on the down icon in here and we select measure count. So like that we have total earthquakes. And now we are going to format this sheet because we are going to duplicate it 6 times. First thing, we remove or we hide the title. We click on format, shading, and we select black. For the font it will be bold white in 10. For the alignment it will be in the center. And now we are going to duplicate it 6 times. So the first time duplicate, we have average dimin, right? So average dimin text, and we have here dimin into same thing text, and we select the average. Duplicate, we have average gap, same thing gap, and we select the average. Duplicate, so we have average NST, and here NST same thing, we select the average. Duplicate, average depth, and same thing, we have here the depth as an average. Duplicate, we remove everything, average RMS, and we drag and drop RMS into text, we select the average. And finally we have the max gap, so duplicate, we remove everything from the label, we have max gap, and we drag and drop gap into the text, we select measure the maximum value. So like that we have all the text sheets. So now we are going to create our area chart, which represents total earthquakes by year and type. So you click on new worksheet, we name it total earthquakes, right, by year and type, and we drag and drop date into the columns, we convert it into continuous, same thing, we drag and drop ID into rows, and we select the count, so measure count. We click on automatic and we select area chart, right? So we drag and drop magnitude type into the color, and like that we get the total earthquakes by year and also by type. So drag and drop the study period into the filters, we select one, apply OK. We click on start parameter, show parameter, same thing for the end date, and we can select the dates, right? Now we can format our worksheet. So first we are going to remove this title, same thing for this axis, right click, format, we select shading as black, so we remove the grid lines in the rows, and for the font it will be bold, white and 8, and we are going to add our borders, so add everything in white. We do the same thing for the title, so put it in the middle, bold and white 11, apply. Okay, right click, format title, and we select the border as white. We can also add a reference line, so right click on the axis, add reference line, and here we select the average, the label it will be the value, and align it will be in white. Okay, you right click on the value, select format, and for the numbers you select number custom with 2 decimal places. So like that we have our area chart with the parameters and also with the reference line. Next we are going to create total earthquake by month and type, which will be a stacked bar chart. So we are going to duplicate this one, remove reference line. For the year we convert it into month, and we click on show me, we select stacked bars. On standard we select the entire view, and we right click on the axis, format. For the dates we are going to select abbreviation. We can add the count into the label. Same thing for magnitude type into the label, and we can format the label, so click on label. The font it will be in black, so we remove this one, and you right click on date and select hide field labels for columns. So we double click on this title and we remove 2, we change year into month. So like that we get our stacked bar chart, which represents total earthquakes by month and type. Next we are going to create magnitude histogram. So we select new worksheet, you write magnitude histogram, right? And we double click on magnitude. So we have here magnitude, double click, you go to show me, select histogram. So the null value, we have one null value, click on it and select filter data. So here we see the bins of the magnitude, so you right click on it, edit, and here size of the bins we select 0.25. okay, so like that we have from 6 to 6.25, then the magnitude from 6.25 to 6.5, etc. We can also drag and drop the quantity into the colors, so press Ctrl key and drag and drop into the color. We can edit the color, so edit colors, and we select orange gold, apply, okay. Now I'm going to modify our worksheet, so double click on the axis, we write magnitude, right? Double click on this axis, we remove the title, we right click on the sheet format, so the shading it will be black. We remove grid lines, none, same thing for 0 lines, none, and for the font it will be white bold in 8. We add our borders, right? So select everything in white, okay, like that, and we do the same thing for the title, put it in the middle, white bold and 11, apply, okay, right click, format title, and we add our border. So like that you get the magnitude histogram. Next we'll create depth in kilometers histogram. So you right click on this one, select duplicate, you change its title into depth in kilometers histogram, okay. So we remove everything, and we double click on depth. Same thing, click on show me histogram, and here we have the bins, so right click on it, edit, and you select 50. Okay, so like that we have from 0 to 50, from 50 to 100, 100 to 150, etc. Same thing, we press Ctrl key and we drag and drop the count into the color. We edit the color and we select gold, orange gold. Apply, OK. We remove this title. And same thing in here, we remove bin. Same thing, we press Ctrl key and we can add it to the label. We can also do the same thing for the magnitude. Press Ctrl key and drag and drop it into the label. And like that, we get our two histograms. Now I'm going to create our scatter plot for the relationship between depth and magnitude. So to keep the same formatting, we are going to just duplicate this one. And we remove everything. So remove this one, remove this one, remove this one, and remove this one. We name it relationship between depth and magnitude, right? Okay. So drag and drop magnitude into the rows and we convert it into dimension. Same thing for the depth. We drag and drop depth into columns and we convert it into a dimension. So like that, to get our scatter plot, we can change its shape into filled circle, right? We decrease its size a little bit. So we can change the title in here. We select magnitude. Okay. We can also press Ctrl key and drag and drop magnitude into the color. We edit color and we select orange gold. Apply, OK. So we have one null value. We click on it and we select filter data. And like that, we get our scatter plot, which shows the relationship between depth and magnitude. Now we can create our map for total earthquakes by places. So you click on new worksheet, you write total earthquakes, right, by places. So double click on latitude, longitude, and we drag and drop place into detail. Same thing, we drag and drop the ID into the color and we select count. We change the color into orange gold, apply, OK. Same thing, we press Ctrl key and we select the count into the size. And you click on map, background maps, and you select dark. So like that, we get our map. You can hide this one. You click on format, shading, and it will be in black. Same thing for the title, put it in the center, white, bold, 11, apply, OK, and add the border. So here we have total earthquakes by places. We can increase the size. So here we have the highest number of earthquakes, and as you can see here, we have also in here and in here and also in here in Japan. All right. Now, for example, we can add the average depth into the tooltip. For example, select measure average. Same thing for the gap. We can add the average and also the magnitude. So like that, we have the average magnitude, we have the average gap, the average depth. All right. Now we create our table for earthquake details with total NST. So you click on your worksheet, earthquake, right? Details with total NST. Okay, so drag and drop date into the rows, and we select exact date, right, which will be discrete. And also you click on the date, select format, and the date you can put it like this. Okay, so it has the following format. Then we drag and drop place into the rows. Next we have the magnitude, which will be dimension, and also discrete, and same thing for the depth. So it will be dimension and also discrete. Then we drag and drop NST into the text. We can sort that by date. As you can see here, there are some rows that don't have NST, right? And now I'm going to format our table. So we increase the width a little bit. Click on format. Shading, it will be black. And for the font, it will be bold white 8. And for the alignment, it will be in the center. Same thing for the header, right? And we add our borders, right? We put everything in white. Same thing for row divider and also for column divider. For the shading, for the header, we are going to select gray. And same thing for the pen, we select also gray. And the level, it will be all the rows. Okay. We'll also edit our title. Center, white, bold, and 11. Apply. Okay. Right click on it, format title, and we add the border. So like that, you get our table for earthquake details with total NST. Now I'm going to create our dashboard. So we click on new dashboard, define the size. So I put 850 and 1050. Okay. And we drag and drop our sheets into our dashboard. So we have here the area chart. So I have the map, then the relationship. Okay. Next we have the histograms. Okay. And for dashboard, we select format, we put it in black. Perfect. Then we have the stacked bar chart. Okay, so we decrease like that. So this is for the map. Put it as floating and we put it inside the map. Same thing in here. So put it as floating and we put it inside the area chart. Remove this one, remove this one, remove this one. For the parameters, we put them in the top. Okay, same thing for this one. All right, we can format directly the parameters. So format parameters, put borders in white, and also the font, it is in white, same thing. Okay. Next, we'll add our table to put in here. Okay. All right, we put array chart like this, and we put so arrange items auto arrange. All right, so we decrease this one like this. We remove the title, and we can put them like that. Okay, so format legends, put the border in white, and same thing for the font, right? So like that we have all the charts. Same thing for this one, we put it inside here. Format title, add the border in white. Okay, so same thing, hide the title and format legend. So add the border in white. Okay, so if we select presentation view, all right, so we have the map, we have the array chart, we have the scatter plot, the histograms, the table. So we will add text sheets, right? So put sheet 1 in here, second one, third one. So hide title, hide title, hide title, decrease, decrease. Same thing in here. So add another one in here. This one. And the last one. Okay, so hide title, hide title, hide title. So like that we have selected all the worksheets, right? We decrease this one. We have average RMS, so we forgot this one. No, put it. Okay, hide title. All right. So put this one in here and this one in here. So you can arrange them as you like. Okay. All right. Can just increase this one like that, like that. Just put them in the center. Okay, so like that normally we have everything. We just select, so go to the sheet, the first one, and you click on this filter, so apply to worksheets, all using this data source. All right, so now when we go back to our dashboard, we select presentation view. So when we change our start date or end date, so everything will be changed, right? Same thing for the end date. Okay, so like that we have our interactive dashboard. So one thing that we can add is the lines that will separate our KPIs. So we select flooring, double click on blank, layout, background in white, and you arrange it depending on your size. Okay, so I put it like that, copy, paste that 5 times. So I put this one in here. So we'll add this one in here. Same thing for this one. This one. This one, put it like that. And also this one. Okay. So I add one. Alright. So now when we select the presentation view, we get our final dashboard. Okay. So we have an interactive dashboard that will depend on start date and our end date. So just last touches, I will put this one in here like that and put it inside. Okay, so for my title we have set the border in white. Okay, percentage view, if we select the whole period, right? So for example, some of the insights that we can get from this dashboard is that most values of magnitude are between 6 and 6.25. Okay, same thing for depth in kilometers. So we have the highest values are in the range of 0 and 50 kilometers, right? Here, for example, for relationship between depth and magnitude, we can see that the deeper we get, the lower the magnitude gets. Okay, for example, here the highest value is recorded for corresponding depth of 35 kilometers, okay, which is very high value of magnitude and very low value of depth. All right, same thing in the map. For example, we can see that the most active region is here, as we can see here in the east of Asia. Here in the ocean, for example, we have Japan, right? As you can see here in Japan, and also we have the west of the United States, all right? Mexico, for example, we have Gulf of California. Same thing for South of America, okay? Same thing. So here, south of Panama, we have here Bolivia, Argentina. So this is the most active region in the world. And also, if we see here in the bar chart, for example, we have March, which is the most active month. Okay, if we select the total period, you can see also the MS type is the most one recorded. So that's it for this dashboard. I hope that you have learned new things. Thanks for watching and see you in the next tutorial.